We live our lives trying to avoid them. But the reality is disappointments come to all of our lives. And for that reason, it's really important that when they come, that we deal with them in the right way. What we don't want to do is just try to ignore them and act as though nothing happened, sweep them under the rug. If we did that, we might be missing a great opportunity to learn and grow. But we also don't want to obsess over them and have the progress, the forward movement in our life stop because of the disappointment that's come our way. Today I want to do something a bit different. I want to share some thoughts with you that I believe can help all of us when these disappointing times come. What is it that we can do to work through them in the best way possible? Here's the first thought I want to share with you. When those disappointments come, review. Think through it. Just get all the information you can, because sometimes in our disappointment we're eager to blame. I heard one person give a definition for the word blame as be lame. And sometimes there is fault to be had. I understand that. But really we want to pull all the information in. And disappointments have been defined as unmet expectations. And so we need to be certain, what is it that we were expecting? From whom were we expecting? Why were we expecting? Make sure you get everything together you can. You see, the last thing you want to do when a season like this comes is to not learn the lesson and have to take the same class in summer school. So we want to make sure we take the time to review. Secondly, this is important, relax. You see, when disappointments come, especially the big ones, there are these involuntary responses that come to our lives. The emotions kick in. There are physiological things that happen when we're greatly disappointed. And it's just so important that we give ourselves permission to just relax, to just take the time to let our mind unwind, and we can move forward after we've done that. You see, I tend to make a couple mistakes when I'm greatly disappointed. If I don't take the time to relax, what I do is I overestimate what it is I think I've lost. And I emphasize I think I've lost it, because in reality, we don't know what would have happened the other way had it gone through. But we overestimate what it is we think we've lost, and then we underappreciate what it is that we still have in our lives. And it's so important that we just take the time to give ourselves permission to rest, to unwind, to get some equilibrium that will help us moving forward. So we want to review, we want to relax. This next one's really important. We want to rely. You know, Solomon was onto something when he was inspired of God to write the words that two are better than one. In fact, even Jesus, as he sent his followers out in a ministry, he sent them out in pairs. And there's a reason for that. All of us have times where we need to lean on another person. That's just a part of life. Quite often when we're hurting, we withdraw. And I would give you this. Seclusion for a period of time can be helpful for this thought process, for inner rest and peace. But isolation, that's a dangerous place to go in our lives. And so God puts relationships in our lives that can actually fuel us. And when these moments come, just intentionally rely on those people that you know love you, love God, want the best for you, and God can use their encouragement in your life in a time of disappointment. That leads to the fourth step I'll share with you. And I call this one just recalibrate. Did you know that every obstacle is actually an opportunity to overcome? That's just the reality of it. And you know, many times as we review, relax, rely, and then we come to this point, it leads us to the place where we can ask the question, Lord, what would you have me to do now? I didn't expect to be in this situation, at this place, but here I am, and God, my heart's desire is to do what you would have. So what is it, Lord? What would you have me to do? As I look back over the years of my life and the various disappointments I've encountered, it's interesting that many times coming out of those seasons have been great times of growth. And I believe the reason why is exactly what we're talking about now. I've had to stop and say, okay, my plans didn't work out the way I thought. Lord, help me. What is it that I need to do? And it creates a momentum, and it helps us to go forward in boldness and courage. And I'm grateful for that. And that leads to the final step I'll share with you today. At some point, we've got to resume. We've got to resume. Now, disappointments, they're going to come. It's just the way life goes. We have no choice about that. What we do have a choice about is how are we going to handle these disappointments when they come our way. Know this, God's delays are not always God's denials. You have to understand that. Just because our will was not met and we define that as a disappointment does not mean that God's will not be met. It most certainly will. David. He was a man in the Bible that encountered many disappointments, and I'm sure a lot of them left him wondering, what is going on and why is this happening? And I think it was seasons like that that led David to write the words we read in Psalm 62 and verse 5 when he said, "My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from Him." It's from Him. What was David saying there? Listen, I put it this way. He was saying, Lord, I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to trust that you have a future for me. Lord, my expectations weren't met, but my expectations are nowhere near as important as yours. And so, God, would you redirect me in this season of disappointment in my life? And I love that mindset. You know, some people go through disappointments and their response is bitterness. That's always a sad place to go. And the moment of their disappointment is reflected on as the moment where momentum stopped for them. That's not what we want to do. Others embrace those moments to learn and grow, and they see them as an occasion for the beginning of something new. So my encouragement for us today is this: let's decide in advance. Let's predetermine that the next time a disappointment comes into our life, that we'll allow that to be a season where we draw close to God, regain a perspective that only He can give, and we'll move forward in hope, knowing that He's got a great future in store for us.